In today's video, I'm going to give my interior entryway and landing a much needed mini makeover. Here we go. This is the entryway to our home. It is definitely a clutter collecting spot, and it has been more so a clutter collecting spot since the lockdown happened. We now have extra people living here and no one's really taking care of their things, and it's just time to get on top of it again. As a side note, you'll notice throughout this video that my front door is partially painted and there's painter's tape around it. We have been painting the exterior of our house, and included in that is the front door. We chose a blue color, which we love, but it doesn't look good on the front of the house, so we're actually going to change the color, so everything is mid-project right now. Before I got into the thick of my little mini makeover, I asked Chris to install this shelf while he had a minute before his workday began, and he did. Then the first thing to do was to clear all the junk. So that's what I started with. This week's Monday motivation video, my mini makeover on my entryway, is part of an entryway decor collaboration hosted by Abby from Abby's Nest. I will link her channel as well as a playlist in my description box below. As I was clearing the clutter off of my landing, I realized I could fill in the holes in the wall that I needed to touch up the paint on, and that could dry while I was cleaning off the landing. So I filled the holes, and I used a product called Patch and Paint. You can get it at Ace Hardware. It dries super quick, and it's a great product and easy to work with. In case you're wondering, that door that I keep going in and out of is the garage door, and that's where I keep a lot of my decor so that I have easy access to it when I want to switch things around. I keep my decor in storage tubs in the garage. Then, of course, I wanted to give the landing a good cleaning, so I got my broom and just gave it a good sweeping. The landing gets disgustingly dirty. I mean, it's just gross. And we do sweep it a lot, but it doesn't matter. People just bring so much junk in on their shoes. In Minnesota, you do not wear your shoes in your house. I don't know if that's the case in other places. That was not the case in New Jersey. We did not really take our shoes off at the door. But in Minnesota homes, you definitely do. So that's why there's always a giant pile of shoes on the landing and lots of dirt that collects. And once it was all swept, I gave it a little bit of a mopping with the Swiffer Wet Jet. Now, I do give it a full-on mopping at least once a week, but the Swiffer Wet Jet is what we use in between, and it actually wasn't too bad when I was doing this. So I just did the Swiffer Wet Jet, and then we'll give it a nice good mopping with this floor cleaner that we use, and that'll be probably in another few days. Once the putty was dry, I got my touch-up paint. Now, I did have to do a color match, and so, it's always a risk when you do a color match because we did not paint these walls, so we don't have the spare paint. This is the color they were when we moved in. So I took a little chip about the size of a quarter to Ace Hardware, and they were able to match it. They did a really good job. Like, you can see where it's wet here, but later on you'll see that it blended really well. Whenever I do touch-up paint, I don't use a brush. I use a sponge brush because that's closer to what it looks like when you're using a roller. If I don't want to use an actual roller, because I just think that would be a waste to waste a whole roller pad on just a few spots. So I just used a cheapy little sponge brush that I picked up for 89 cents, also from Ace. The entire house still has the original switch plate covers, which were almond, and we've been switching them to white as we redecorate rooms and as we paint. And these hadn't been done yet, so I did decide to go ahead and switch these. Full disclosure, after the first one, I actually got Gabe to help me out. That's my son. He actually finished the first one and did the second one for me so that I could do other things on this project. My goal for my decor this summer is to unify my spaces. We have a family room, a great room, and this entryway, and they're all very connected. And in the family room, I've done what I call a coastal cottage with elements of vintage, so I want to bring that into the entryway here. I like what's going on in the center here, that black window with the chalkboards in it, so I'm going to leave that alone, but I did remove the little white window that said welcome, and I'm replacing it with this painting that I have, a print that I have. This is a cruiser bike. That's what we ride at the shore. I am from the Jersey Shore, so I love this picture. And I actually had previously used it down in my bathroom, but I'm now redoing my bathroom to a boho style. So it works really well here, and I love to get to reuse things that I already have. Next, I remade my letterboard. I still like Home Sweet Home, but I wanted to put something for summer on there. This is a set that Arteza sent me. I will leave some information about it in my description box below. I love this letterboard because you can use it for multiple seasons and it's just one piece of decor. So that's great. The set comes with many, many letters, so I needed to pull out letters to spell sweet summertime. Once I got the letterboard rehung, I cleaned the garage door using a Scrub Buddy, which is basically the Dollar Tree equivalent of a Mr. Clean magic eraser and works great for taking off scuff marks. I attached this command hook to the garage door. I like to hang a wreath on here or a basket. You want to make sure the surface you're attaching the hook to is clean and follow the directions on the package. I got another piece of artwork from my bathroom that I knew I wouldn't be using after our bathroom makeover. I really like the way that it looked on this wall here. I also wanted to put a basket above it. I usually have a basket hanging high here. I used a nail that was already in the wall to hang the basket, and then I used another nail to hang the piece of artwork. I didn't need to use a screw and anchor because the artwork is not heavy at all. I needed a place for our dog leashes because we walk the dog several times a day, so I had created this little frame with a saying in it that says, "Happiness is sand between your toes and a pup at your side." I will put a video up of all of these DIYs on my other channel on Friday. I know that's in reverse order, sorry about that. And then a subscriber had sent to me this little picture of a dog holding a leash in its mouth from the 1960s, and I thought this would be perfect in this little spot. And the command hook had sat long enough, so I hung this basket. It reminds me of the beach. I got it at a thrift store years ago, and I just put some of this Dollar Tree grass into it because it reminds me of seagrass. I think this is a nice, subtle coastal element to have down here in the entryway. We like to have a table at the front door. It's hard to find one that fits here because it's such a small space, but we need it for our keys and for our mail. I found this one at Goodwill for $5 just yesterday. I haven't even shown it in a haul yet. Then I used this basket from my stash. I like it because it has a handle and the kids will easily be able to carry it to the mailbox to get the mail. I got us a new key basket from Target online and I did a drive-up pickup. I really liked the texture of this basket. It definitely looks very beachy to me, and it's a good size for keeping all of the keys corralled. I always like to have a plant in every room, and now that we're treating this like a room, I decided we needed to have a plant. I had picked up this large snake plant at a garden center the other day for $20, which is a great deal on a snake plant, and I DIY'd this basket to look like some of the ones I've been seeing in higher end catalogs, with half of the basket painted, well, not quite half, painted a color, and then the rest just the natural basket. I really love how this looks next to the entryway table. I added in some additional decor from my stash, and I don't know where the footage went of me actually putting those down, but you see them there. I wanted to add in one final touch to this spot. It's this little Dollar Tree sign that says "Seize the Day." I hung it using command strips. We use this basket on the doorknob of our closet for the doggy baggies, so that's what this will hold. Just makes them easily accessible for walks. Then I took these dogwood branches out of my stash and put them in this vase. Now this vase I had thrifted last year sometime. It's originally from West Elm, so it's a really nice heavy vase. and I love it here. I did put a Dollar Tree decal on it, so sometimes I face that out and sometimes I face the plain side out. I'm feeling the plain side right now, so I faced that out and then just stuck the dogwood branches down in it. I always like to have a pillow on the bench, so I pulled this from my stash. I made this years ago on my sewing machine. And as a final touch, I added this throw rug from Target. I do need to get a rug gripper for underneath, but I don't currently have one. But I love the color, and the door opens it over it just fine, and it's completely machine washable, which I really like. Here is the final reveal. I love how it turned out. I really love the coastal cottage look and the little bits of blue that I've added in. I think it really ties in well with the rest of the house now. I'm enjoying the DIYs that I created, and I really feel like we've made it more like a room. That's what my hubby said. It feels more like a room now instead of just somewhere that you pass through on your way into or out of the house. And that's all that I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this mini makeover on my entryway. If you liked this kind of content, I would love it if you'd subscribe to this channel. And now that you've watched this video, why don't you go ahead and watch the playlist with all of the other wonderful creators who have also made over their entryways for you today. And until my next video, thanks for watching.